Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to both of you for being here today. Secretary Austin, I want to commend you. I want to commend the work that you have done so far to get Ukraine the equipment and support they need to fight back against Russia's unforgivable attack on their country. And at the same time, I'm glad we're starting to provide more capable systems. And I really urge you to increase those deliveries and provide all the necessary training so Ukrainian forces do have everything they need. Now, I have heard repeatedly from people on the front lines and those involved in the logistics system in Ukraine about equipment that we deliver not reaching frontline units that most need the weapons and ammunition and body armor. There seems to be a number of logistical and institutional issues, including some diversion and hoarding, which are standing in the way. So I wanted to ask you today, what is your assessment of those issues, and how are you working with Ukraine to make distribution of international assistance more transparent and effective so the units on the front lines actually get the equipment that they need?
Well, thank you, Senator. This is something that's very important to us at the department and to me and General Milley specifically. And we talk to our counterparts on a weekly basis. And without fail, this is a question that I ask about. We don't have people on the ground to be able to provide accurate feedback on how this equipment is moving and whether or not it's getting to where it's needed most. But the report that we get back from the senior leadership routinely is that it's getting to where it needs to go. But, you know, I won't stop. I'll continue to engage and make sure that we emphasize that it's important that all the stuff we're giving them gets to the right place so that they can be successful. And in addition to that, you know, when I engaged the senior leadership in Kyiv last week, I emphasized the importance of accountability as well. And they acknowledge that this is something that's important and something that they're focused on. Again, without people on the ground to be able to confirm or deny, it's very, very difficult to do at this point. So.
Okay, I appreciate that. Turning to home, Secretary Austin, in January, I and many of my colleagues sent you a letter regarding DOD oversight of privatized housing after Balfour Beatty communities pled guilty to defrauding the government. The department's response provided few meaningful answers on how oversight is actually going to improve, and that really needs to change. And on top of that, as you probably know, just a few days ago, the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations released a report showing that after the period covered by the DOJ investigation, Balfour Beatty continued to fail to remediate mold, failed to make critical repairs, and falsified information in the database DOD uses to calculate their incentive fee. That is really outrageous and really completely unacceptable. In my home state of Washington, Balfour Beatty continues to obstruct building sufficient housing at Fairchild, and along with the shortage of housing in the community where BAH fails to keep up with rent prices, that means that military families are left without housing. Some have been stuck living in out of RVs for months now. And at Joint Base Lewis McChord, dozens of families have sued Lincoln Military Housing over really deplorable living conditions. Our service members should have access to the best, or at least decent housing, not the worst. Now, we all want to fix this as soon as possible. This budget requests almost $168 million for military housing privatization support. That is $45 million more than last year. Can you tell me, first, what are military families getting out of this funding increase? And secondly, what is your assessment of the private housing companies' compliance since the plea agreement? And will you hold them accountable for such horrendous abusive conduct?
To your last question first, yes, I will hold them accountable, and I expect the service secretaries to hold them accountable as well. And, you know, the health and welfare of our troops, our families, is very, very important to us. And, you know, we put a great deal of emphasis on this, but, you know, obviously this is something that we can never take our eyes off of, and we're not there yet. And we put more resources into the budget so we can provide more and higher quality housing. But we're going to have to hold the contractors accountable, and we intend to do that. I intend to do that. So
What are the military families getting out of the funding increase that's being requested?
it'll be, of course, it's spread out over a number of different projects, but it'll be more and better housing, so higher quality housing.
Okay. Well, we've been told this for a long time, and we're still seeing these deplorable conditions and the ongoing, really substandard housing and the challenges that our families are having. So this needs a lot of work and oversight, and we have got to stay up on top of it. I want to know that you're going to be doing that.
I will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Moran.